There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 12, the final round of season 5 of the Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 series. I'm John Van Ree. With me tonight is my regular co-host Mark Duggan. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, good, John. Glad to be here. It's going to be an exciting final round here tonight.
Looking forward to this one, as boys have already set their first fastest lap here in quali in the Sandown circuit, which we might have a quick look at as we start to get excited for this 300k race. And we are at Sandown down in Melbourne, out near Dandenong, and we start on the long straightaway, also known for its horse racing, as we come down past the start-finish post into turn 1. Nice fast sweeping turn to the left, and then into the hard braking complex as we come down into the late corner through turn 3 and 4. Then we accelerate up the long back straightaway over the rise, where the guys have got to get off the gas and try and pull the car up as they come down into turn 9, notoriously known as Dandenong Corner. Big lot of kitty litter in there for the guys to drop into. And then we come out of there and we come into turn 10 and then through the 11-12 complex back onto the start-finish straight. It's a short track. She's only 3.1 kilometres long, 13 turns. And the boys will race hard around this place because there's only really 2 or 3 passing opportunities and they've got to make the most of them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, John. I think if I recall last time, we had a pretty exciting race here last time. We had all sorts of weird and wonderful incidents. If I remember correctly, we had a car parked up on the fence at one stage that was stuck up there. So, yeah, anything can happen around here, and I'm sure it will tonight.
Absolutely. I think that was Boys we saw on the fence. That was the end of his championship hopes last season. As we might just have a quick look, speaking of championships, as this includes the 2-drop rounds going into tonight's race. So we have Brenton Hobson on 1,551 points. And he's a clear 53 points ahead of James Chastaneuf. Damien Johnstone in 3rd. And then Paul Young knocking on the door for Banter Alliance to take the bottom 2 steps of the podium. And then Christian Smart, Ben Morris, Michael Angus, Zach McDonald from 9.5 Simsport, Harrison Dengate and Blake Warboys in a great team tussle there. With Chris Funky Miller, great step up for this guy from Quantum Performance Racing to get himself into 11th for the series. Tim Mulford from Phoenix Racing in 12th. Warren Davis, James Scott, or what would have been if he didn't have a holiday. I think he would have been easily knocking on the door for the championship. And then, of course, we've got Ladder, Robbie Gibbs, Thomas Freeman, Dave Kirby, Stuart Coleman, and Jamie McKnight rounds out our 21st position. I think we're in for a good race tonight.
Yeah, I think we've got Brenton Hobson with a fairly clear lead at the moment, but we also thought Damien Johnson was going to be in with a shout, and that was before last week's race where he probably rued the fact that he even turned up at Sebring. So it's not over and done with yet for Brenton. Anything can happen, and it's a fairly long race tonight, so he needs to play his cards right, and we know Brenton's the ultimate pro when it comes to sim racing, so I expect him to give a good showing, but he can be unfortunate, get caught up in other people's problems, so we'll wait and see what happens.
And of course, Sandown is the track that is well known for having the lap cars, lap traffic. So I'm interested to see how these boys deal with that as we get into the bowels of this race later on. And speaking of the details of the race, we'll just go through and fill everybody into that one. So, of course, it's the 300-kilometre race. So it's 96 laps around this circuit. That's quite a few times to go around. And it is 12 p.m. in the sim time. We've got dynamic sky set. Temperature set for the day at the moment is 18 degrees. 3 knots of wind from the north. Very low humidity. And, of course, we have 1 fast repair, unlimited fuel. 2 compulsory pit stops have to be taken. And, of course, the iRacing incident limit is set for every 25. So, we need to see how these boys tackle this one.
Yeah, all these boys have got plenty of experience around here now, so I expect them to be pretty well up to pace and with good track knowledge. Track temperature currently sitting at 28 degrees. I expect that to probably climb a little bit as the race goes on.
Yeah, definitely be expecting it to climb up a bit. As we said, we've got dynamic sky as well, so that's going to have a little bit of an effect on the outcome of proceedings with the weather as it changes. So it'd be interesting to see how these boys actually make the most of it. And of course, it is a track that is known to have safety cars and not have safety cars. So it's going to be very unpredictable whether they get an advantage out of a safety car early on. In saying that, when we were here last time, we did have safety cars.
Yeah, like you said, John, it's notorious for traffic to get mixed up here because it is a pretty short lap. It's not that short in distance, but it's a very quick lap around here. Big straightaway, so lots of 100% throttle. So yeah, the boys can get a little bit tangled up with proceedings until things shuffle themselves out after pit stops.
Yeah, definitely need to be shuffling around. As you can see, a few guys taking some interesting lines here as we try and get around without getting in people's way. There's Michael Freeman going for a nice little drive across the grass into the sand trap. Down at Dandenong corner.
Yeah, well, I think last time we seen plenty of action at Dandenong corner there, so I will expect to probably see the same thing tonight.
As it looks like we've got War Boys towing around Dengate at the moment with there. It might just jump up to the front. James is on track. James Scott, of course, our fastest car with the 106.152. And he's 0.1 ahead of Dylan Rudd.
Yeah, we saw it at Sebring last week with Dylan Rudd getting a good start, and he was able to hold off James Scott for quite a few laps, but once James got released, that relentless pace he shows race in, race out, nobody could really get near him again, and it was a battle for the minors. But yeah, shorter lap here, so I don't expect the gaps to open up quite as much.
See, getting it on the curb every time. Come down the long straightaway down to turn 1. Nicely back the car off, pull it up, try and flow through without killing too much speed. Use the curb on the outside as a bit of a berm. Get control again. This is a tough part of the track here. Some setups like going over those bumps, others don't. So James taking your few of them. Just clipping the edge of the curb as a berm again coming out. Foot on the gas. I think we've got Hobbo's just come out of pits in front of him here. So getting a bit of a slipstream off his teammate. Heads out to the right side. And the catch is getting off the gas at the right time here so the car will flow through. Don't want to take too much curb there, otherwise you get a slowdown. And hard down into the brakes through Dandenong corner. Then we continue the power. Hit the brake mark here at about 50, pull it up. Ride the curb a little bit, set yourself up so you get a good exit and get good speed coming onto the start-finish straight or into the pits in this case.
We've got about 8.5 minutes to go. James Scott still on pole, followed by Dylan Rudd. Brenton Hobson doing a good job with the pressure of the championship on his shoulders. Blake Warbur's in 4th, Damien Johnson, Paul Young, Hayden Harrison, James Chastaneuf, Zach McDonald doing another great job again tonight, and Troy Maguire rounds out your 10. Harrison Dengate has clawed his way up to 11th, so obviously Blake giving him a hand to get around that last lap.
Yeah, great to see Harrison moving up. Zach McDonald, of course, a 9.5 It's going off on the grass there, trying to keep out everybody's way. Still on with his teammate Dylan Rudd here. Ben Morris has just set slightly quicker time.
Paul Young and James Chastaneuf flying the flag for the Banner Alliance racing team, and again they're doing a great job for a small team.
It's good to see the small teams having a good crack tonight. Of course, we've got some of the big teams in Fishy Motorsports and SSR. But it's always good having the small guys. As a jump on here with Chasty. Of course, the FK livery on the bottom. Looking very composed. Just jump on with Craig Schultz. Craig looks like he's on a flyer at the moment. He's got 2 green sectors. Let's see what he can do here. I don't think he's going to jump up too much, but might be lucky enough to get himself up to 14th. And
good job there from Craig.
Big Fish, he's on a bit of a charge as well. Michael Whiting, of course. Being boss of Fishy Motorsports. He comes across and jumps himself up into 11th. Damien Johnstone, he stays in 4th. Great to see Ken Ladder set a purple sector for Sector 1 and ducks into the pits. I said an issue on that last sector.
Ken sitting in 15th at the moment, which is not where we're used to seeing him. We've got about 5.5 minutes to go, so we've still got time for another couple of laps maybe.
Definitely see what he can do. So we can see Michael Stewart from Hypersonic Racing. Stewie still sitting 22nd after that one. Knight's the next one looking come over the line. McKnight stays 20th. Warboys was the other one we were watching. He's come through. He's still sitting in 5th. I did see Roy Clark's back with us tonight. 25th spot.
Yeah, welcome back to Roy. Good to see him back here.
Rumour has it he's missed the last couple of weeks because he's been doing Celtic dancing lessons.
Every good driver should be out practicing their Celtic dancing at some point.
Yes. It looks like Hobo is about to come out for what will be, I'd say, the last opportunity. It's 9.5 boys all diving out in front of him there as well. I know Hobo's on his way in. Watch us jump on this group that's coming out. Damien Johnston stuck in the middle of a 9.5 sandwich. I think. No, it's sorry. I got that wrong. I think that's James Scott behind, is it? Tim Alford behind him.
Kenneth Ladder on a hot lap as well. He really needs to make the most of this one. He's running out of time.
Using all the curbs down into Dandenong corner. Sorry, that was down to the bottom. Heading up to Dandenong now. control the car at max speed. Not too much of the curb. Pull it up. Come on, Kenneth. Manages to get it through. Maybe didn't lose too much. A little bit wide on the apex there. Only 2 corners to go here. Still leaves him sitting 15th.
Yeah, he had a big moment there on the exit of turn 11, 12, and yeah, it really cost him probably 3/10 there, I reckon.
There's jump on with James Scott. About to start his lap shortly. Nicely pulling up, looking for a gap. Wait for the next guy to go past. He's got his gap now. You can see the clever track awareness. And we are away. David stopped car down in the corner. Hopefully that doesn't get in his way. Looks like they might be going again. Yes, a lot of curb. Oh, one of the fishy cars there in the wall in the last corner. What does James do? He sets a faster time. He goes with a 106.148. What?
Great lap there from James. Car looks very balanced. It's very bumpy out there on all them curbs, and yeah, he's done a great job. Car looks fantastic.
Let's see what our current champion can do. The man running the number 1. Oh, Dave Coleman, well stuck in the wall there, I think. I think it's Dave. And Bobo doesn't go any quicker. And the checkered flag is out for qualifying. John Stone. That could be advantage Johnson. Oh, no, too hot into Dandenong. Threw that one away. Back McDonald gets across the line with a 107.06. Craig Schultz is across the line. Joshy Drage. Supercheap auto livery.
Kenneth Ladder still to come as well with his last roll of the dice.
Comes Ken across the stripe. Hobbo goes with a 106.22. Stays in second spot. Ladder stays in 11th. What does Drage do? I think Drage has gone straight to the pits. Got some upsets and some interesting ones in this qualifying session, Mark.
Yeah, the cream's risen to the top again with James Scott on pole, Brenton Hobson in P2. Dylan Rudd just got knocked out of P2 there by Brenton in the dying stages of qualifying. Damien Johnson doing a good job fourth. Blake Warby's, as usual, doing a great job, as is Paul Young. Hayden Harrison in 7th, Ben Morris 8th, James Chesterton 9th, Zach McDonald 10th. So good qualifying there from Zach to maintain his top 10.
Yeah, he's done really well. Let's have a quick look at those grid positions. Again, so James Scott will start on pole alongside his teammate Brenton Hobson, and then Dylan Rudd from 95 Sim Sports. Then it has Damien Johnstone parked beside him from Synergy Sim Racing. Third row of the grid, we have Blake Warboys from WK&P alongside Banter Alliance's Paul Young. Hayden Harrison sitting down in the fourth row from 95 Simsport. Great result from Hayden to see him in the top 10 alongside Ben Morris from Phase 4 Motorsports. James Chastanoof rounds out in ninth from Banter Alliance alongside the young gun himself, Zach McDonald from 95 Simsport. Kenneth Ladder manages to get himself into 11th for Synergy Sim Racing alongside Troy Maguire from Fishy Motorsports. And then Michael Whiting in 13th from Fishy with Tim Mulford from Phoenix in 14th. 15th is Harrison Dengate from WKP alongside Craig Schultz. Fishy's Dave Coleman in 17th. Josh Drage from WKP in 18th. Christian Smart is 19th for SSR alongside his teammate, veterans compatriot Jamie McKnight in 20th, the People's Champion himself. And on the next row is Quantum Pecky Performance Racing's Chris Funky Miller and Michael Stewart from Upsonic Racing in 22nd. Blair Van Ree from WK&P is 23rd alongside Warren Davis from Banter Alliance. They've got a reasonable sized field as we round it out now with Michael Freeman from WK&P and Roy Clark from Banter Alliance. And we have Seb, who's our race control, and Ash Barella, who is our safety car driver, and Dave Worrell, who is our second steward in race control. I think we're in for a cracking race here.
Yep, absolutely, John. We've got some pretty regular protagonists at the front, and as we know, the mid-pack battle, it rages all race long, so really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be good. This is a tough track. You've got to get through this turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 complex and get into Dandenong in these first 2 laps without too much argy-bargy and side-by-side stuff. It's quite common to see instances into turn 1 in the first 2 laps. So it's going to be how these boys tackle it. 300 Ks is a long way, 96 laps. They're going to have to be smart about this one. You're not going to win it in turn 1 on lap 1. But don't tell them that.
They all know that, but doesn't mean that they listen to their own wise words.
And as we start to get ready here, we're about 10 seconds away. Expect this to start up very shortly. As about to get going here. Got 1 red, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lights out. We are away. It looks like James Scott's got off the line well. Hobson tucked down a little bit. Johnson having a look up the inside, going 3-4 wide. One of the Banner Alliance boys, absolutely, yep, that's what I called it. I'm not sure who that was. I think it was Chastanoof up the inside there. We'll keep the action up the eyes on front at the moment. As we come down into the bottom, James Scott definitely doing reasonably well. Rudd gets past Hobson. And Johnstone trying to get into this battle here. He's right up the back of Rudd. Hobson alongside. I said it was going to be epic in this first lap. Advantage Rudd. Hobson tucks in, back into a single file line. Down into Dandenong corner for the first of 96 times. And James Scott's had a cracker. 1.7 seconds already. Another spinner in the background there at Dandenong. Look like it might be Kenny Ladder. Oh no, that is huge. That'll be spots being dropped left, right and centre.
Ken going to drop to the rear of the pack there. Disappointing for Ken, but yeah, James Scott's got an absolute blinder while the boys behind him are fighting over the crumbs, so to speak, and they've spent so much time squabbling that James has just been able to blast ahead.
Absolutely. As you can see, young Zach McDonald there in the background going a little bit deep into turn 1. That's cost him a bit of time on this battle pack. And we might just quickly, while we get the opportunity, And I get the right camera selected first. We might just quickly jump on and see what happened with James Chastaneve on lap 1, turn 1. Supercheap auto replay. It said he went for that line inside. A little bit balked. Hey, Ben Morris, I think it was, trying to be safe and sound through there. A couple of spinners in the background. Looks like Maguire involved as well. And Mulford went off the track. Dengate went off the track. Might see them all clean themselves up. We might have a quick look at Troy Maguire again from his perspective. Not much you can do. A little bit of a shove there. Luckily, not much contact with these boys, so I think they're all going to live to play another day. And of course, Kenny Ladder down into Dandenong. Just a little tap. Oh, double tap. So that'll be interesting. I'll leave that one for race control. And back to live pictures. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, that's all right, John. I was just going to say that turn 1 incident wasn't a whole lot of contact from anyone there. Just a couple of little lock-ups and people losing control of the car, but there wasn't major contact. So the only one that's kind of feeling the pain at the moment is Kenny Ladder, who's at the rear of the pack, got a fair bit of damage on the front of the car. And I've got no doubt he'll be losing plenty of lap speed on these big long straights.
Yeah, that would definitely be hurting. The old front of the car looking a bit sus there. Hopefully, of course, one fast repair. Hopefully he can get himself through to that first pit stop. Get himself back in the battle. Speaking of the battle, Hobbo's under one here from Dylan Rudd from 95 Simsport. The champ and champ-elect. Hobson knows he's got to be here or about, and he's got this sewn up. But, no, still got 92 laps to go. He's got to keep the focus on the road and looking forward.
Yeah, absolutely, and we saw in practice and qualifying that these two boys have got nothing between them in terms of pace.
Of course, talk around the Logitech G Pro water cooler this week has been on the tennis ball appearance of Hobbo's livery. So at the moment, it's definitely advantage Hobson.
Yeah, Hobbo doing a great job out in front of Dylan Rudd in both in P2 and P3, but as you said, John, there's still 91 laps to go, and we've still got a lot of racing to get under our belt before anything's decided tonight.
We'll just go back in the pack a little bit. We'll have a look at young Zach McDonald. He's in a bit of a battle pack, chasing down Hayden Harrison in front of him. And Paul Young just in front of the 295 boys. They're all batting away really well here. And Dengate, he's in a great little battle with Craig Schultz. Josh Drage behind him, he's up 5 spots. So Smart Miller, Davis is up 8. A few boys already making some moves.
Yeah, Roy Clark up 5 as well.
Oh, Roy. Right, definitely all eyes front. Forward. A bit of a brake lock up from Michael Stewart in front of him now. Of course, if you are watching along on Facebook or YouTube, oh, there we go, Chasty with a drive-through for that lap 1, turn 1 incident. So that is a big call for the championship, that one. That opens the door up for Paul Young to try and get himself into the top 3 on the podium.
interesting call there from race control. James will probably be disappointed with that one, no doubt. Yeah, everyone's disappointed when they get a drive through, but yeah, that's. I think he probably just misjudged what was happening in front of him there.
I think that's what it was. It's a tough one. He was trying to not get caught up with Ben Morris, I think. So yeah, tough decision, but you got to do the most you can. As we just jump back up the front, check on how Hayden Harrison's getting on. A great little line, nose to tail, still working together. The two young fellas from 95 Sim Sport.
Yeah, the 9.5 Simport boys have been a big welcome addition to this series, and they're showing good speed with Zach McDonald. He's been in and around the top 10 the last few races, and he's really starting to hit his strap. So he's in a good team, and looking forward to seeing how he goes in the future, because I don't know that he's been around a long time, but he's shown a lot of promise.
Yeah, it's been exceptional watching him just develop over this season. And looking forward to seeing what he does next season. Of course, season 6 entries are open now. Looking keen to enter, let us know. Jump in the chat. We'll get some details out to you. For season 6 of the East Coast V8 series, and we brought to you again by Supercheap Auto for another season, which is fantastic news. And reveal that again tonight.
It's great to have Supercheap Auto on board with us. They've been with us for a while now, and it's fantastic to have a major sponsor.
Hayden's just been spun. I had spun. I'm not going to say who did it, but big move there. And Hobbo under a bit of pressure from Dylan Rudd. Yeah, no, awesome to have Supercheap back. And it's been very good having them for the last couple of seasons, and the commitment continuing on with us. Of course, Vehicle Finance Solutions, West End Motor Group, Pool Guys in Adelaide, and of course Barella Cabinets, they're all back as well. And I'll wait for round one. We might have a couple of other new names to drop into the hat as well for the sponsorship team behind the series. Yeah, got to agree with you, Macca, in the chat. He didn't do anything wrong. It's a little bit unlucky. He was having a great little battle there. Mind you, Zach's taken up the charge now. He's right up behind Paul Young. Ben Morris trying to get in and have a look at it as well. And of course, the big fish, Michael Whiting, he's making some moves behind these lads. Trying to latch onto the back.
Yeah, at the moment we've got James Scott and Daylight second, with Brenton Hobson, Dylan Rudd, Damien Johnson, Blake Warboys, the next 4 on track. They've got a little bit of a gap back to Paul Young, so we get a safety car, and this is all going to compress again, and it's going to eat away that lead James Scott's picked up at the moment. So still a lot to play for, as we keep saying. There's still around 86 laps to go.
Oh, great driving. Kilometres in that.
There was absolutely nothing left in there, so Zach doing a great job, as we said before, but hats up to Paul Young as well. Paul's doing an exceptional job as usual tonight.
Very experienced driver is Paul Young.
Very tough little battle pack as well. Paul Young, Zach McDonald, Ben Morris, Michael Whiting. These guys, you know, don't give you anything for nothing. So pretty intense racing right here.
Absolutely. It's an intense little track. Like, yeah, I think you got that big long straightaway in the main straight. You get a reasonable break, but you kind of really don't because you're basically trying to drive in that slipstream to make the most of it. Eke every millimetre out of the car in front, just on the off chance that you're going to get a chance in the next corner.
Yeah, and the lap being so short, time-wise, yeah, it's just, you know, you do have them straights, but the racing's relentless. So, you know, like you say, you feel like you don't get a break.
And of course, Andrew Ritchie letting us know that Warren Davis has been crook as a dog. He's up 10 places. So, Warren doing really well.
Yeah, Warren doing an exceptional job. He's our big mover tonight.
Running Tim Mulford, Coleman and Harrison. And McKnight in this battle. Then Funky Miller, Troy Maguire. We might do, so we might jump on board for a lap with Warren and crank up the volume. Oh, Warren, he's working hard.
Yeah, working out very hard. Couldn't help but notice that he was on the, looked like he was on the limiter there at up the back straight, and he wasn't even in the draft.
A little bit of lap traffic now, I think. Was that? Or no, someone's just been spun. That is Damien Johnstone, was it?
Damien's off track at the moment.
Yeah,
but
it's Damien Johnstone was clipped in the rear there. I'll just see if I can pick that up. Let's just jump. I think he might have spun coming out onto the straight. A little bit of a spin there in front of one of the WK&P boys. That's in front of War Boys. He's in the cush. Don't get too much damage. Usually 0x when you hit the tyres in that part of the world. Gets going again. Caught up in this Paul Young battle. Zach McDonald goes past. Morris behind. Coming through the kink. Morris just clips him a little bit into the wall. And that will be some serious damage to the Synergy Sim Racer. So I did say this place does throw some tough little arguments out to people. I think Damien's got the car going, no?
Yeah, Damien won't be happy about that. He's he probably could have got out of that a little bit earlier with the rejoin, but It's always tough when you're in the cockpit. And yeah, now he's got major damage. You're going to have to go and use that fast repair.
Maybe a little bit early to get a home in T-stops as well. Jump on here. James Scott in P1. He's 7 seconds up the road. Then we've got the man with number 1 on the side of the car, Brenton Hobson, sitting in second spot. Dylan Rudd in third, keeping him honest. Wallboys a further 1.6 seconds back in fourth. And then we go 12 seconds back to that Paul Young group. These boys out here definitely settling into their race.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where you are on track, whether you're settling in or not. We've seen some pretty rough and tough racing there. Damien Johnson's still in the pits. I'm not sure if he's taking on fuel, making a pit stop, but his car still hasn't been repaired.
Might jump back on with McDonald and Young. Actually, I might have a look at Tim Mulford, see how he's getting on. He's under a bit of a battle as well. Chasing down Warren Davis.
Yeah, Tim's got Hayden Harrison behind you. We saw a little bit earlier there, Hayden getting caught up in an incident and costing him a dozen places or more. He was doing a great job before that.
There he was. Big shout out to Joshy Barella. He's on Facebook watching us. And Tom Ferrer, yeah, mate, definitely feel for Damo in that one. But that little kink on this track has caught so many guys out over the years. And there we go. Drive through for Ben Morris for turning John Stone on the back straight. So race control adjudicating that one. See these boys here all lining up. Nose to tail, great little battle pack. Weaving their way down the back straight.
There's no rest for these boys so far tonight. We're 18 laps in and there's still nose to tail here.
Yeah, great little battle. Looking forward to it. Where it's going to go. Might just jump back up to that other battle pack we've been watching, the Zach McDonald, Paul Young. This group's starting to tighten up a bit more. Michael Whiting getting right into the thick of it. Ben Morris and Dengate now latched onto it, and Schultz and Smart, so... all the way back to Drage. Drage about 3 seconds behind these boys. Of course, Morris with the drive-through. So we'll see him peel out. Young Zach here showing great maturity.
Yeah, doing a good job. He's up 5 spots. He's been able to get past Paul Young and just starting to inch out a little bit of a gap here.
There goes Morris. Morris peels off for the drive-through. Opens the bit of space up for Dengate. See if he can latch onto the back of McDonald, Whiting now, sorry. Young Zach seems to get a little bit of a length on Young going down the straightaways, and Young sort of catches him up in these corner complexes.
Yeah, Paul Young desperately trying to hang on to this draft, because if he loses it, he's going to have Michael Whiting behind him swamping him. So really needs to use Zach McDonald as best he can to maintain that straight line speed.
Yeah, definitely we might just drop down, have a look at how Hayden Harrison's getting on. He's working his way back through from that earlier spin. Tucked back up behind Mulford and Davis. Big shout out to Steve Murray as well, who's just joined us. Harrison's car still looking a bit twitchy. Definitely some good battles throughout the field.
Yeah, the only one having a lonely night so far is James Scott, I think.
Of course, James not too far away from having to deal with traffic. And Davis, that one. Here comes Harrison. And does Coleman have a look here as well? And just going to take the opportunity just to quickly throw an ad up. We'll be back in a few seconds.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
And people who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name. Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super.
It's definitely great having Supercheap Auto part of our team, the East Coast Series. Final round, season 5. We're going to jump back up, check on that Paul Young battle. Zach McDonald's got a little bit away. Not enough though, but Michael Whiting, he's starting to come on strong in the back end of this first stint.
Yeah, we saw Warren Davis peel off just that lap before, so he's in on lap 22. I'm not sure what the boys' strategy will be here, but we've seen before James Scott going very long when he's got plenty of speed in the car and such a big gap behind him. He can really just pick his own strategy now.
Yeah, I think it's the luxury of having time as Michael Whiting gets through on Young. So great to see Michael up 7 spots into the top 6. Might just drop a bit further down again. Have a check on Christian Smart. He's tucked up behind Craig Schultz. So Christian's up 9 spots. Got some very wily old vets drivers in this series. Very experienced racers and very experienced guys when it comes to being able to think on the run like you need to in some of these enduro style races. We lack the fitness of the young blokes, but make it up with the mental toughness.
Unless you get as old as me and then you lack the physical and the mental abilities to do anything properly.
Go a bit further back, we'll do a Roy Clark check. Spot check, yes, Roy's still here. Under a bit of pressure from Blair Van Ree. Young Blair back in the rig again after a little bit of an absence. Great to see him back in the East Coast Series and still circulating after 20 laps. And definitely keeping Roy honest here, which is good. And might jump back further. Chastity, of course, after that lap 1 drive-through, he's got himself back into 20th position. I know we keep saying it, but it's a long way to go still. Anything can still happen for Chastity. Safety car can change the game for everybody. Hayden Harrison's worked his way back up to 13th. Managed to get under a bit of pressure here from the 2 fishy cars behind him and Coleman and Maguire. Chasing down the Phoenix Racing driver, Tim Mulford, in front of him.
Yeah, Tim doing a good job. He's been able to put a little bit of a gap between himself and Hayden there, so Hayden will be looking to close this down as soon as he can. But, Tim's doing a great job. He's in a quality team, as we know, but Pioneer on his own in this series, so he's almost like a privateer, you could say. So Tim's doing an outstanding job.
Yeah, it's been great having Phoenix Racing boys jump in for season 5, and I believe they're coming back for next season as well. Definitely a great little league is the East Coast League. Good quality racing on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, absolutely. Generally very good racing. It's tough. There's nothing, you don't get any freebies here at all. So good way to polish your racing for other series or if you do officials. Lots of good drivers in this series. Lots of good drivers.
A very good standard of driving. Makes it enjoyable for us to commentate. There's Dave trying to hang on to the back of Hayden. Hayden definitely showing a good burst of speed here for the 9.5 SimSport team. We might jump back up. Craig Schultz now. Craig under all sorts of pressure. Christian Smart still. So Smarty's going to get through here.
Christian Smart showing that experience as you talked about earlier, John. Just staying patient and yeah, making a good move there.
Yeah, very solid. Right, next man up the road, 2.5 seconds is Dengate. Might just check in with Paul Young. All now starting to come under pressure from Harrison Dengate. Fair bit of the curve there, Paul. Young Harrison, of course, one of the qualifiers into the Logitech G Pro Series. A reasonable effort in round 1 last Wednesday night.
Hobson pearls off into the pits, as does War Boys.
That's the early ones. I was expecting it to be about lap 32, but a couple of earlier guys peeling in. I definitely start to expect to see the stops happen. Just keep an eye on where these two come out. May have been looking for track position.
Yeah, well, Dylan Rudd and Brenton Hobson were still nose to tail after 27 laps, and be interesting to see if Dylan covers here or if he pushes on longer. We've got a car on the back straight that looks like it's smoking as well.
Back straight.
That's Roy Clark, I think.
Oh no. Looks like he's roasting some Bay 21 coffee beans.
Yeah, he's trying to nurse that one back to the pit. It's getting quite bleak out the back of that car. I think he's got there in the end.
Yeah, he's got there, I think. Hayden Harrison sitting just outside the top 10 and 11s. Great little recovery drive. So we're just going to check where Hobbo came out. Hobbo's come out in 16th. As I said, it was probably going for the clear track. You can see there's no one really in front of him. Got a nice clear road there for a while. About 3.7 seconds back from Ben Morris. War Boys has come back out in a bit of free air as well. I think he's dropped a little bit. Might just have a quick look at the pit stop times. And of course, War Boys was 29 seconds. So War Boys put in 5 more seconds of fuel. 4 more seconds of fuel, sorry, than what Hobson has. Davis only went 23 seconds. So definitely starting to see some fuel strategies play out a little bit too as we start moving into these first stops. Should start to see the rest of our race come into pit very shortly. I'm expecting James Scott to go extremely long again, as James does.
Yeah, I think James will just take his time. He knows he's got plenty of pace in the car. He's got a 8.5 second gap to Dylan Rudd, so you know he can just kind of do what he wants when he wants. Really, he's got plenty of time up his sleeve to even make his mistake in pit lane and still come out in front.
Yeah, he is definitely going to be the man to beat as we tick over lap 30 of 96. So still a long way to go though. Might just have a quick check in where Zach McDonald is. He's up into the top 3, running in 3rd at the moment. Of course, a few boys have pitted in front of him. But no, good clean air around him. Time to make hay while the sun shines. And try and put in some good banker laps. And just hope that he can hang on. As he's got Ben Morris and Michael Freeman in front of him. Both are lap traffic. Morris off the track there. Not sure exactly what happened.
I think just a driver error there.
You can see you got Whiting, Young, Dengate. Are all still inside on the back straight.
So Blake Warboy's battling with Chris Funky Miller on that previous lap as well. I'm sure Blake would have wanted to have cleared him a little bit quicker than that, and eventually Chris peeled off into the pits. But I feel like Blake probably lost a little bit of time there, and after taking that extra fuel, it might have negated that.
Interesting to see how that unfolds out. Car looking a little bit unstable and under the full tank as well. Goes a little bit deep there into Dandenong. Manages to keep control. Might just quickly check on Tim Mulford. Funky Miller. It's an interesting pit exit at this place. Mulford, Coleman. Dwyer just got it pulled up in time, I think.
Now, of course, we're seeing Brenton Hobson caught up in this block of traffic as well. So Brenton probably would have hoped to have, these guys might have pitted in front of him a bit sooner. So he's going to be losing time now to Dylan Rudd, I would think.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. Here he comes through. Speaking of Brenton Hobson, thick in the middle of the battle here with Maguire and Jamie McKnight sitting just in front of him. Nicely letting his teammate get past easily. Acknowledging that it's not my battle.
Yeah, Brenton back out in some clean air now, so he'll be relieved at that.
Yeah, definitely allows him to open up and get going. Seems sort of clearing away a little bit there. As of course, you can see the West End Motor Group banner on the Fishy Motorsports car of Troy Maguire behind there. Of course, for those who don't know, West End Motor Group is a fairly large conglomerate of companies in Western Sydney, consisting of 2 Easy Finance, Parramatta Mazda, Parramatta Isuzu Utes, Parramatta Peugeot Professionals, Parramatta City Haval and Great Wall Motors, then of course Blacktown Mazda, Blacktown City Haval and Great Wall Motors. So if you are out in the Sydney area and you market for a car, I highly recommend you go out and have a chat to the team at West End Motor Group. They are an awesome bunch of people, and I'm sure they can help you out.
Yeah, and fortunate again to have another great sponsor in the West End Motor Group for this fantastic East Coast V8 series.
Jamie doing really well here, Mr. Consistent. We talked about these vets drivers, no, being able to just calmly plug away their business. As we've now reached lap 34 of 96. Kenny Ladders in the pits as well. He's going to jump on with Mulford. Now look how Timmy's getting on. Whiting and Dengate have pitted.
Yeah, I've been watching this battle with Timmy Mulford and Dave Coleman. Been pretty entertaining. They've both got good speed. They're both up a bunch of spots for the night so far. Tim's up 6, Dave's up 8, so and battling hard, but they've got Brett and Hobson coming on fast towards the back of them. So going to be interesting to see what happens when Brenton gets on the rear wing of these two.
Tim did very well to keep control of it going through turn 13 there. Car did get quite loose. Of course, Dave Coleman, no slouch as well. He's was second in the Shannon series, Shannon NTE series, going into Sunday night's round.
Yeah, Dave's a great competitor, as are all the Fishy boys. They all give 100% every time they show up, and yeah, they're good, tough racers, but also good guys to race with.
And Hobbo now latched onto the back of these lads. Coleman looking up the inside. Hobson's got to be very careful not to get caught up in someone else's battle here. Great move from Dave. Can he hang on to it? Timmy Mulf. There's a bit of panel work there. I think they're both all through though. A little bit of Robbins racing.
There wasn't a lot in that. I think Brenton was far enough up there to be there, so unfortunate for Tim. He's got a little bit of damage out of that, but he still fights another day.
Yep, still latched on the back. Still in Rudd's now in the pits. Zach McDonald moves into P2. And Coleman, Mulford continue on their way. Of course, neither of them have pitted yet. Of course, I reckon, in my calculations, if they run a full tank, they've probably only got a handful of laps left, probably about 2. Of course, Coleman known as a good fuel saver.
Yeah, interesting to note. Dylan Rudd was a couple of seconds longer on the fuel stop than Brenton Hobson, and he's only a couple of seconds behind Brenton Hobson on track. So I think Dylan going to have good tyres under him, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get past Tim Mulford and latch onto the back of Brenton Hobson.
Looking forward to it as McDonald and Schultz roll into the pits. There's Rudd definitely up behind Mulford here. Didn't want to be hanging around too long.
Especially now that Sorry, John. Especially now Brenton's cleared Dave Coleman up ahead. So Dylan Rudd's just got past Tim Mulford, so he's on his way.
Yep, great. Great little overtake. James Scott is in the pits. Our race leader. So see that time ticking over. He's been in 28 seconds already, 29, so he's going to fill it right up. This is the strategy he did last time. As Paul Young now takes into the lead. James Scott has filled it right up to the brim. Basically meaning that his next stop will be very much a splash and dash. So Paul Young from Banter Alliance is our current race leader. So by my estimate, he's only going to have to put in about 40 litres at his next stop. As Christian Smart comes in. So Paul Young, Josh Drage haven't pitted yet, nor has Dave Coleman, Mulford, McKnight, Maguire, and Van Ree and Chastanoof. As Young peels off. Probably expect Drage to do the same. No, he's going one more. A moment of glory with the P1.
James Scott off track.
Oh, gee. Go to the Supercheap Auto replay. Too deep into turn 11. No damage, no harm, no foul. Probably get a hefty little slowdown there, though.
I kind of feel like he just lost his bearings there a little bit.
Slightly colder tyres after the pit stop, maybe. The Drage is our race leader. Hobson in second. So Hobson, of course, has done well out of that fuel stop. Going in that little bit earlier. Rudd is about 1 second behind, 1.2 behind. And I believe Van Rees had an incident. Let's have a look what's happened there as Josh Drage has gone in. But has done, is keeping out of the way of a little bit of a clip there from McDonald and one of his other teammates there. I'd say it was Dengate. That's a little bit unfortunate. Let's go back to live pictures. Leave that one for the stewards as Drage and McKnight are in the pits. So Brenton Hobson takes the role again. And
Of course, Dylan Rudd on much fresher tyres and got a little bit of pace on Brenton at the moment. He's got about 3 or 4 tenths a lap quicker at the moment, so won't be long and I think we'll see Dylan Rudd on the back of Brenton.
I wouldn't be too surprised. Troy Maguire's had a bit of an incident as he's passed War Boys. See if that's not interlinked. Down into Dandenong. He's gone a little bit too deep. Everyone's through safely. Nicely gets control of the car, gets it going again. And as you're saying, got a little bit of lap traffic. Jamie McKnight in the middle there. Once Rudd gets past McKnight. Still waiting on Coleman and Mulford to pit, which is the interesting statistic at the moment.
They're going deep into this race, and I guess they might even get away with one stop. Oh no, no, they've still got
Compulsory too.
Yeah, oh, it's compulsory too. Sorry, my bad.
Mind you, they just about would, particularly if you got a safety car.
The tyres are feeling a little bit second-hand on the cars of Mulford and Coleman.
Yeah, they wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be. This might just jump back on another two blokes, Maguire and Chastanet. They still got a pit as well, on my calculations. Dave Kirby, Coleman will pit in the next 20 laps. Timmy Mulford's just had an off track. I think a small one, I think. Would have been getting out of the way of James Scott. Check the replay. He's just found the sand at Dandenong. Allowed Scott to get easily past. He's doing very well, Dave. He's had his head down, caught up in a turn one incident, and he's battled his way on. He's done really good. There's young Troy Maguire. And in a great little cracking battle here with James Chastanet. Of course, saying lap 43 and 96, the half, not quite the halfway point yet. There's still a long way to go here. Jump into Warren Davis. Apparently racing from his deathbed, according to Andrew Ritchie. He's up 7 spots into 7/8.
Yeah, he's doing a great job if he's been that sick all week. So in a tough battle here with Ben Morris at the moment.
Definitely settling some good paces, these two boys, though. And it would not be a East Coast broadcast without me saying this. Roy Clark has had a crash. Let's go to the replay. Banter Alliance extraordinaire driver coming through the top end of the circuit, down into Dandenong. Pinches a brake, spins it around sideways, smokes it up. That's holding your brakes in an incident, but keeps it everyone's way and does good. Allowing Michael Whiting to scoot straight past and Zach McDonald.
Yeah, very easy to do there down at the end of Dandenong. So not the only driver to do that tonight. Giving the sponsors some airtime, but doing the right thing.
Yep. And Dave Kirby in the chat definitely throwing the barbs into the water, saying that Coleman is lapping faster than Whiting on 40-plus lap old tyres. And making sure he knows about it too, apparently, over in the fishy chat. As Chastity and Mulford come into pit. So Coleman up 14 spots in third at the moment. Having a cracking drive. But still to pit.
Yeah, Michael Whiting doing all he can to boost morale in the team there.
I thought that's what I had Dave Kirby for. Love the fishy voice. And Dave Baldock sitting in his newly fixed spa from the pool guys in Adelaide to say that Hobbo is putting on a clinic. I think you got to remember is that Hobson had I think 15 seconds less fuel go in. So I think when we get to the next pit stop, I think we'll see it all reveal itself. And Dave Kirby, I hope you're referring to clownfish. Not racing tonight because he's prepping for season 15 of Vets, apparently. It's Dave Kirby. There's Paul Young tucked up behind Dengate coming down the straight here. This is the battle for 7th and 8th. So some good little battles. McDonald Whiting in front of these guys. Warboys in 4th. James Scott's managed to battle his way back up to 3rd after the long pit stop. So I'm interested to see if he can close that 5-second gap down on Rudd.
Yeah, of course, Dylan Rudd's just spent this entire portion of this stint just inching his way towards Brenton Hobson. It's been tough going for Dylan, but he's just pegging away, and he's almost there.
Almost there. As we might just continue back a little bit. James Chastanuth and McKnight. Chasty getting the job done there. This is the battle for 16 and 17. And jump back on with Whiting. He's under all sorts of pressure from young Zach McDonald from 9.5 Simsport. Practicing for Vets that Dave Kirby talks about. Is that on? Is that real? We allowed to practice? Great difference between you split 1 boys and I split 3 boys. Great little battle here. Whiting doing really well. Copying a lot of pressure from McDonald.
Yeah, Zach putting a lot of pressure on Michael, but as we're seeing, Michael's up to the task so far. So Michael's a tough racer, and he's up 8 spots tonight. So it just goes to show you the quality.
Donald using every inch of the track there to try and stay on the back of Whiting.
Warren Davis has got the most positions so far tonight. He's up 9, so all the way from the sick bed to up 9 positions in 15 spots. So outstanding job from Warren so far.
Doing really well. 007 entering. Trying to chase down Josh Strage in front of him at the moment. Of course, we're past the halfway mark now.
Yeah, we're on lap 49 of 96 laps. Just looking back, Hayden Harrison is another one that's had to gather his thoughts and chip away. He's made his way back into the top 10 here. He's down 3 spots, but he lost a ton of time in an unfortunate incident early on.
And Hobson's under pressure from Rudd. So that gap is closed up.
Yeah, it took Dylan quite a few laps to get here, but he's here now.
You can see traffic now starting to become a factor as well. These boys have lapped their way up to past 15th.
of course, getting there and getting past are two different stories, aren't they? So it's going to be tough going. But then again, Dylan may feel like it's an opportunity to save some fuel sitting behind and reduce that stationary time even further.
Donald's just got past Whiting. I might just go back. I'll actually just jump on, have a quick look at that, and Whiting's got back past him, so these two still battling.
Yeah, clearly not a lot in it between these two if they're swapping places more than a couple of times on a lap.
McDonald having a look up the inside into turn one. Quite get the move done.
See the rear of that car starting to squirm there at the end of that braking action, but he was able to hang on, and Michael Whiting did a great job to hold him off.
Here comes McDonald. Not an ideal spot to have a go. Deep under brakes.
Plenty of straight line speed in that fishy car.
Quite solid. And might just go back up the front, just check on Hobson and Rudd. That battle's still raging on as well. But James Scott's now only 7 seconds behind these boys. So he's slowly closing in. War Boys is a further 8 seconds behind Scott.
Because James Scott was about 16 seconds longer stationary than current race leader Brenton Hobson.
That should unfold itself when we get into the next round of stops.
Yeah, it should, but we've seen after James made his stop, he's been in an incident or two, so that's still, anything can happen here.
Correct. We see Hobson pitted on lap 26. Rudd was 35, so Hobson's tyres will be starting to age a little bit here. And of course, 37 was when Scott came in. Warboys was a 26 as well. Whiting was 33. Donald 36. Coleman went 45 laps. That's a fair effort for a set of tyres around this place. And let's have a look at those pit stop times. You can see that Hobson stopped for 24.8, 26.8, and then of course that 40.5 of Scott. So you can see Scott took a lot of fuel on compared to those around him. And Drage took on 41 seconds of fuel. So definitely, I think a few of these boys looking just to do a splash and dash at the very end of this race.
Yeah, Jamie McKnight, another one with 40 plus seconds of fuel, so yeah, they won't be needing much come the end.
Of course, been running under a green flag since the start. Still a long way to go though, only 55 and 96. Field spread out reasonably well. Zach McDonald and Michael Whiting have been battling it out. This is a battle for 5th and 6th. These two boys have been nose to tail like this for about 4 or 5 laps now, and not much in it at all. Haven't seen Dengate and Young catch up to them, so they've all been setting some quick times. The lead's changed a couple of times between these boys. Steve Murray asking us not a slowdown for Hobson cutting across the curb coming down the hill. I think you've got to go a fair way outside the line on that one. I think you've got to go more than a car width. But you might find, though, you might be getting some incident points as he comes across.
Yeah, Brenton using all the track, that's for sure, and just opened up a couple of car lengths on Dylan here.
Big shout out to Michael Angus, another one of the fishy boys. He's jumped in the chat as well. Watching us from his hotel room up in sunny Brizzy. I hope you're enjoying that sunshine, beef cheeks. It's been a bit wet and muggy down south the last couple of days. As the boys get past Roy Clark, getting out of the way, lap traffic as Hobbo goes through. And Rudd.
Yeah, good job there from Roy, not interfering with the race leaders, the current race leaders. Gives them plenty of room. They're just about to come up on the back of Hayden Harrison, I think.
Ben Morris, then Hayden, I think. I think them two are battling as well, between Hayden and Ben. So this is the old jumping into someone else's battle. Warren Davis coming out of pits as well. Comes a busy little track, the old Winton Raceway, the old Sandown Raceway.
This is not what Brenton Hobson and
Dylan
Dylan Rudd want to be dealing with at the moment.
Harrison nicely moves over for the two boys. Tucks in behind his teammate, Dylan Rudd. Latch on for the slipstream. Tune battles with Ben Morris. Just check on Whiting and McDonald. That's still going along, still battling away.
And James Scott now has the lead down to 5 seconds. So James is making good progress here.
And he can see that pack in front of him, so he'd be quietly confident that the boys got slowed down a little bit.
Now, Brenton and Dylan were in the high 108s and James Scott was in the low 107, so safe to say that, yeah, they lost a bit of time there.
Of course, in saying that, you can see James coming down the hill there as the white car. He's got to battle his way through that pack still. A fair bit of traffic between us and him. Lap 60 and 96.
So 36 laps to go. Brenton Hobson in P1, Dylan Rudd P2, James Scott P3. James has put a lot more fuel on, so we're thinking James is only going to have a fairly short stop on his second stop. Then we've got Blake Warboys, Michael Whiting, Zach McDonald, Harrison Dengate, Paul Young, Craig Schultz, and Christian Smart rounding out your top 10.
And of course, Michael Whiting up 8 spots, Smart up 9 spots in those battles there. So some good drives from a few of these boys.
Yeah, Harrison Dengate, another one, up 8 spots. Dave Coleman up 6 spots. So, yeah, been some big movers tonight.
As you see Ben Morris peel off, the first guy going for the second stop. Getting in nice and early. Donald and Whiting, nothing's changed with these two boys. Not enough straight away for Rudd to get the job done. Bit of smoke here. What's happened? I think it's Dengate. I think Dengate's had a big off in Daniel. Let's go to the Supercheap Auto replay. Young H coming down very hot over the curbs. He's onto the grass. Light little touch on the wall. All tyre smoke. Let's go back to live pics. As Hobbo's blinked, he's in. Getting the job done.
Still got 35 laps to go, so still quite a few laps to get on that second set of tyres.
Remember though, I think we had the boys do 40 laps, so they just got to look after them. Of course, going back to the championship standings, I think Hobson's really just got to keep himself alive in that top 10, particularly with Johnston out of the race.
Pretty long stop there for Brenton. He was on the stationary for 37.5 seconds, so just goes to show you how thirsty the car was.
I reckon Dylan was pushing him a fair way there. And sitting in his slipstream, probably saving a bit of fuel on the journey.
Yeah, and of course we've seen Dylan with his first stop was just over 2 seconds longer than Brenton's first stop, so it's going to be a very intriguing battle. Brenton on fresh tyres. Can he keep that gap under 2 seconds so he can maintain position when Dylan pits for his second stop?
Of course, Dylan coming up in some more lap traffic as well. They've probably got to be considering that in his thought process. Just looking at the track map, if you can get a little bit further up, you can get past Dengate and Coleman and Smart, he might get himself in a situation where if he does pit, he'll come out with an open track. So it's another factor to be considering.
And of course, we've got James Scott now lurking in the background as well. Just over 3.5 seconds he's behind at the moment. So that gap is continuing to reduce lap after lap.
James getting back on the horse after an off track after the first stop. Getting back into his rhythm and back into the pattern. Now check, Hobson's now joined this battle as well. So talking about things maybe not going quite his way after this second stop. So he's now going to get caught up in this Whiting-McDonald battle. That'll be eating a bit of speed out of Hobson.
Yeah, especially while he's on fresh tyres, he'll be wanting to make gains if he can, but this is not helping his mission for the night.
Zach's smart enough to pull out of it.
Yeah, but Zach gives him plenty of racing room there. Zach knows where his battle is at the moment.
Yep. Blue car in front. The big fish himself, Michael Whiting. And Whiting peels off into the pits. There we go. It's hammer time, young Zach.
Yeah, young Zach will want to tag onto the back of Brenton Hobson for this next lap to try and make as much ground as he can. .23 seconds stationary there for Michael Whiting as he just starts to come out onto the race line again.
.23's not too bad. McDonald going his own strategy, continuing on.
Pressing on. Yeah, I'm not sure whether Michael's come out in clear air or... managed to be able to just get out in front of
Timmy Mulford.
Timmy Mulford there, yeah, and he's got Jamie McKnight just up ahead, so he's come out in a reasonable position there, Michael.
Yep, nice little carrot in front. Head down and go. And might just take this little opportunity. Is Young and McDonald now coming to the pits. Away from McDonald's pit stop the finish. So just keep an eye. Rudd's in as well. Keeping an eye on Rudd. McDonald's in the lane. So keep an eye on those boys. James Scott's now taken the race lead. War Boys in P2.
Zach McDonald and Michael Whiting door to door again after both taking their pit stops. Except Zach McDonald is now in front of Michael Whiting.
The battle continues. And Rudd, of course, is in front of Hobson. And James Scott has come into the pits on 69 and 96. That's what Warboys do. He's the man sitting in second. Does he go again? No, Warboys is going to shoot in as well. Dylan Rudd, the first of our two stoppers, coming down in the Dandenong corner with the Michael Freeman bouncing over the curbs behind. So Warboys is in the pits with James Scott. Has resumed the position. He's 5 seconds up the road.
James took more fuel than I anticipated he would there.
Well, let's go the old pit stop time. He took 21 seconds. I thought it would have been a bit less. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. It's only 9 seconds less than Dylan. Thought it would have been 15. As Harrison, Schultz and Drage are in the pits.
Zach McDonald, it looks like he's had a big off.
Zachy, go to the replay of that one. Supercheap Auto replay side by side. Is that lateral smart? McKnight, that's a very big off into the tyres. Lost the bonnet. Keeps the car going, yes. Of course, this is down into turn 2. 3. I think. Not just before Dandenong. So that, yeah, that was a big off, that one.
Yeah, big high speed off there. Shame for Zach. He was doing a great job tonight, but let's put paid to that for the evening.
Yeah. And we're going to take second now. Quickly throw in another ad for Supercheap Auto while Chris Smart ducks into the pits.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
And people who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name. Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super.
And back again with a big thank you, of course, to Supercheap. As we're now commercial free to the end of the race. Lap 71 and 96. Getting a little bit stormy around my area here, but I think we should be okay. As we continue on, James Scott's our race leader. He's a good 6 seconds up the road from this man, Dylan Rudd. He's 5 seconds up the road from the champion-elect, Brenton Hobson. And then after Mr. Hobson, we will have the Mr. Warboys, who's 19 seconds back. So he's back fairway. Dave Coleman, first of our one stoppers. He's in 12th spot at the moment. Oh, so up 12 spots in 5th. Great drive from Dave. I'm sure the fishy fans will be very happy with that. And James Chastaneef sitting in 6th from Banter Alliance. So based on the current standings with Damien Johnstone, I'd say Chasty will be looking quite solid here to possibly take out second place in the championship. So wait and see that one at the end. Michael Whiting, he's back in 7th, up 6 spots. Jamie McKnight, another one of the one stoppers. He's up 12 spots at the moment. Great drive from Jamie. Sure he'll be happy with his battles tonight. Doing really well. We go back a bit further where there's a bit of a battle still going on, where we have Craig Schultz from 9.5 Sim Sports chasing down Christian Smart. He's got Tim Mulford just in front of him. And then we've got Paul Young and Zach McDonald behind. So Zach recovering from that little incident we saw before, missing a bonnet. And he's pushing Paul Young very hard. So just keep an eye on this battle pack.
Yeah, Jamie McKnight doing an outstanding job as usual. He's up 12 spots for the evening, as is Dave Coleman in 5th spot, Jamie in 8th. Another great drive tonight from Tim Mulford from the Phoenix race team. He's inside the top 10, up 5 spots at the moment in 9 spots. So there's been some great drives tonight.
Oh, most definitely some good stuff going on. So let's do a running guess at the championship standings. Oh, it's pretty obvious to say that Brenton Hobson will be home as our champion. Sitting in 6th, Chastity's probably done enough to get himself home in 2nd. And then Paul Young, I'm probably going to have a guess and go on the line and say Paul Young has definitely done enough to come through and finish himself in 3rd for the championship. So, got to get home still. Not quite 75% race distance to classify as a finisher.
Yeah, currently got 23 laps to go, and yeah, unfortunate for Damien Johnson, he's had 2 weeks in a row where he's really not had the best of races, and not through any fault of his own either. Like he got hit from behind, unfortunately, tonight, and really ruined his race.
There. And is continuing on. Schultz, nice getting away a little bit here. Might jump back on with Zach McDonald. Keeping the pressure on Paul Young. Knight still to stop. Not stopping this time. Alford goes in behind him. So, racing onwards here. James Scott, still our race leader. Coleman's into the pits for his final one. James looking definitely in control. Got a 7-second lead. He's going to comfortably bring it home in. It's been a very calculating drive. Lap 75 and 96. Still a little way to go. Has to be careful of the lap traffic. It's worked his way up into the top 8. Which is a fair effort in itself.
Jamie McKnight in the pits as well.
In for the final stop, along with Dave Coleman.
Dave just coming out now.
Dave sneaking back out in 11th. Chasing down Dengate in front of him. Oh, hobbo. Letting it all hang out in the background. Check on Paul Young again and Zach McDonald. These boys still battling pretty hard, chasing down Craig Schultz and Christian Smart in front. Dylan Rudd about to latch onto the back of this battle. Try and get past. Joys of lap traffic.
Now we've seen a couple of times tonight, traffic's played a big part in some big incidences tonight. So Damien Johnson was one of those involved in a pretty big incident. So that was after Damien came off track and then was hit from behind. So yeah, traffic pretty precarious around here.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, as we've seen, for someone to come off one of these curbs, get a little bit sideways. And of course,
Zach McDonald, another one.
yep, doing well though, young Zach. Of course, missing the bonnet, but using that slipstream to hang on to the back with Paul Young in front of him.
Christian Smart in sixth spot, up 13 places from his starting position. So Christian doing an awesome job thus far in the race. We've got just over 18 laps to go, and hopefully Christian can hang on. And he's looking strong for drive of the day at the moment, but there's still 18 laps to go. So wait till we get to the end.
Car looking nice and clean and straight as well. Have to be pretty happy with how he's been going.
Yeah, without a doubt. Craig Schultz would be pretty happy as well from 9.5 Simsport. He's up 9 positions in 7th, so well entrenched in the top 10 at the moment and doing an awesome job. So really hoping Craig can finish this one off.
Yeah, it'll be good to see Craig up in there. He's battled pretty hard when he's been with us this season.
Yeah, tireless worker, Craig. He always puts in 100%, and yeah, he just probably doesn't have the luck that he deserves at times. And yeah, it'd be good to see him get a good result tonight.
And of course, Paul Young sitting behind these boys. He's trying to get onto the back of them, and he's under a lot of pressure from young Zach McDonald. You can see Dylan Rudd behind him at the moment. Nicely gets out of his way. Young Zach, of course, a little bit of arrow damage is probably hurting him here. It looks like Young's managed to creep away a little bit, breaking that slipstream. Michael Freeman from WK&P being lapped there as well.
Yeah, Michael doing a good job getting out of the boys' way, giving them plenty of room to get on with their racing. And yeah, well done, Michael, for being aware of what's going on around him.
Of course, his first East Coast race as well, so baptism of fire.
Without a doubt.
What job
There's nothing in it with these 5 cars at the moment, with Christian Smart, Craig Schultz, Paul Young, Zach McDonald, all pretty much nose to tail, and then we've got second place in there thrown in as well, lapping them with Dylan Rudd.
Well, boys, not well, boys. That was Singer. Back on with Schultz. That was Dengate going a bit wide there. And we've got someone stopped who's 23rd at the moment. Blair Van Ree stuck in the fence.
Is this going to be the safety car that some people were hoping for?
That is a magnetic fence there. I have been stuck in that fence before and had to call for a tow.
Yeah, there's plenty of magnetic fences in iRacing. Yeah, and I've been in that one myself. You get out on them ripple strips and it just spits you straight into that wall.
Keeping an eye on pit lane, and out comes the Kia. Ash Barella driving the Kia tonight. This is as fast as he's gone on at East Coast for a long time. So we are under safety car conditions. Not sure what's happened to his livery, but Big thank you to Vehicle Finance Solutions, of course, who sponsor our safety car. As we've been through our round of pit stops, wouldn't be too many guys ducking in. Of course, we've only got 15 laps to go.
Brenton Hobson going in for some fresh tyres, which is an interesting move.
What did he have on Warboys? Warboys is in as well. Oh, where's Whiting? Whiting's running down the back straight now, so they've got time to do it. Probably thinking that they might get the advantage on Rudd with fresh tyres and Scott. There we go. I've just been tipped off that Ash is really loving being in the safety car. Ash is doing a really good job. But Ash hasn't got the right paint on, so apologies on that one. There's some wave buys going on as Drage goes past. There's James Scott. Opportunity to take a breath for these boys. It's going to be a bit of a scramble for these last 15 laps.
Yeah, going to take a little while for this to untangle, but I think once we get going, I think we'll have probably 12 laps of racing left. So, yeah, it's going to be on for young and old, especially with Brenton Hobson and Blake Warboys on fresh tyres.
They're the only two. I think Troy Maguire's in there trying to get some, but this is going back down to 18th. So I guess on this restart, the guys to keep an eye out for will be, let's jump on Dylan Ruddy, watching people go bust. Whiting's now snuck into the pits. Is he going to get out in time before Chris Smart, though? This is going to be a little interesting one. Just want to get the tyres, hoping you're going to get more grip and a bit more pace out of it. It's another thing. We'll lose the spot and have another car you have to pass. Whiting, he's just done it, yeah. So we're going to have Hobson, Warboys, Whiting all on fresh rubber. Then the boys down the back, we're going to see Maguire and Drage on fresh rubber. But the guys keep an eye on this restart for me will be Michael Whiting. And then if it's not Michael Whiting, who's up 8 spots in the 5th, it'll be Christian Smart, who's up 13 spots into 6th, and Craig Schultz, who's up 7 spots into up 9 spots, into 7th. So they're the guys to keep an eye on. And of course, James Scott is the other man. James has probably got enough raw pace with old tyres to be able to hold off some of these boys behind him. But it'll be interesting to watch the battle between Hobson and Rudd. So we're talking about old tyres versus new. You can see there, Rudd's tyres are about 15 laps old. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it does make a difference. You got fresh rubber, someone else diving in the back there. Not sure who that was. Wire again, I think. There's... Looks like we've got one more lap. On safety car conditions. So just try and do a bit of mental arithmetic in my little brain. So Brenton Hobson sitting in P3 as the leader of our championship. He'll be quite safe because the man that was in P2 was James Chastaneve. Chasty's sitting in 13th. And then Damien Johnstone, who's out of this race, was sitting in 3rd. And then 4th was Christian Smart. Sorry, it was Paul Young. And then Christian Smart in 5th. Now, by my calculations, I said roughly using my limited brain capacity, I think Chasty can't afford to give away too many spots to Paul Young more than what he's got. So I think Chasty needs to finish, I think, a solid 5 spots behind Paul Young to hang on to that 2nd spot. Paul Young at the moment will be hanging on to that 3rd spot. So
some real inter-team rivalry there.
yeah. I'm interested to see what sort of team orders they have at Banter Alliance.
Dave Baldock's in the spa with his Cuban cigars and champagne, so I'm sure he'll be laying down the law.
Dave's changed teams.
Yeah, is that right?
That's right. Dave's on the move as we go to green flag racing.
So Dave's telling you what to do now.
No, he's not part of me. It's an alliance between Dave. Yeah, Dave's with WK&P. As racing under the Dave 37 banner. And I kind of get messages from Baldock every day, so he's enjoying the new relationship moving into season 15. So good bets.
Good on you, Dave. Hope you have a great season, mate.
And the lightning is definitely going outside.
Oh yeah, we've had plenty of, not tonight, but we've had hail, lightning, so yeah, there's been plenty around.
And lap 85 and 96, James Scott, Dylan Rudd, Hobson, Warboys, Whiting, Chris Smart. You can see those tyres are working for these boys as they've pulled away from Schultz.
Yeah, Brenton Hobson, Blake Warboys, plenty of grip underneath them with fresh tyres, so pretty good tactical move there to put the pressure on the boys in front.
Warboys going very wide though. Of course, Whiting was the other one who put tyres on. He's managed to make up another spot, getting past Smart.
Yeah, Michael doing a good job inside the top 5 at the moment. Christian Smart still up 13 spots for the night. Craig Schultz just behind Christian in 7th. Craig's up 9 spots. Michael Whiting up 8 spots. So them boys are the big movers of the night so far. Dave Coleman with an honourable mention as well, up 7.
Dave doing really well. Can he stay in that top 10 position? That's the question at the moment. Hobson now getting really racy on Rudd. Of course, James Scott won't mind these two behind him battling. See Hobson in full go mode, using all the curbs and then some.
Nine and a half laps to go, so another lap or two, I'll probably see the tyre get negated a little bit.
Yeah,
Dylan really needs to just stay behind James here and use that toe to maintain his top end speed, and Brenton will have plenty of trouble getting past. As long as he can maintain that toe, I think he'll be all right.
Definitely all showing some good pace. 106.6, 106.7, 749.64. Warboy's a little bit quicker. Whiting a 6.9. So the top 5 cars all in the 106s.
Probably a bit more pressure than on James Scott than what he would have anticipated with that late safety car bringing these boys right up under his rear wing. So James was looking very comfortable, but now he's got a little bit of pressure behind from Dylan Rudd.
Definitely not about managing the gap now, is it? It's about keeping the lead. And these boys, all quality drivers racing in the Pro Series. Now these boys will be back here later this year when they got the 500 at this place.
Yeah, some of Australia's best sim racers out here tonight at the East Coast V8 series. So, you know, we get plenty of good races here and we get to watch plenty of good racing. So these boys turn up week after week and entertain us no end.
Hobson now starting to look a bit more aggressive on the back of Rudd.
There's 7 laps to go. Brenton really trying to force his way past Dylan now. He's got plenty of speed in that car, but he doesn't quite have enough pace at the end of the straight to get through. See that gap to James Scott just growing inch by inch at the moment, and Hobson tucked up all the way under the rear wing.
Side by side. That is how close you can get without taking each other out. That was some awesome driving by the two lads there.
Absolutely, and Dylan looking very vulnerable to Brenton's fresh tyres at the moment.
Of course, these two battling like this is bringing Warboys into the equation. Thought he was about to go into the back of Hobson.
Warboys with a good run now.
What's Warboys do? Warboys doesn't quite stick a nose in there. Lets Hobson know he's there though. Of course, it's opening the door up for, and I've lost my intervals. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, James Scott's just been able to edge away now after these boys battling hard, and he's got a 1.5 second, 1.7 second gap. So Dylan's going to be a little bit vulnerable to Hobson in his draft now.
Careful not to go too tight over that curb. Don't want to risk a slowdown at this stage.
Coming down to 5 laps to go, so not a lot of time to get this done.
So settling down again for a little bit here. Knowing Hobson, probably trying to calculate where he's going to get this move done as those laps tick down. These boys, of course, have been racing for 1 hour and 47 minutes, nearly 2 hours. So a little bit of mental fatigue will be starting to kick in a bit here as well as Hobson goes for the look but tucks back in. Down in the Dandenong, all nose to tail.
Yeah, it's a long time to be in the rig racing for these boys, and we've just got 4 laps to go now.
All boys gets a good drive out of the corner. Not enough though to get a bit of a leap up here. Ride very quick. Try and break the slipstream. So the boys come across, start lap 94. Bit of lap traffic in the middle there. Gap opening up a little bit to Rudd. Warboys now putting the pressure on Hobson. Last race of the season. Sure, Warboys would want to be on the podium. Hobson's got to be a little bit smart, protect his championship. Mind you, 2 laps to go. Looking at the leaderboard at the moment, he'd probably be home.
But James Justin have done a great job to get in just inside the top 10 in 10 spots, so he's only a couple of spots behind his teammate now, Paul Young.
Yeah, I think it's probably enough for him to hang on to that second spot. Young will move into third. Oh, big night for the Banter Alliance team.
Shout out to Kenny Ladder as well. He's battled hard tonight. We saw him involved in a big incident, I think on lap 1 or 2, and really put paid to his chances, and he's stuck it out, toughed it out tonight, and he's just outside the top 10 in 12th.
Yeah, done really well. Down in the Dandenong, second last time. Ben Morris just dropped out. It's a bit of bad luck for Ben. As James Scott takes the white flag. It's the last chance these boys are going to have. Can Warboys take it to Hobson? Of course, Warboys, our season 1 champion. Hobson, our season 4 champion. And about to be elected our season 5.
Yeah, so Brent will be our first champion to go back-to-back in the East Coast Series. So it's great achievement there for Brenton.
Yep. He'd be pretty chuffed for that, I think.
He's run the number 1 plate on the car this season, and he's proved that he's a very, very worthy champion, and he's going to be able to run it again next season if he wants, and put paid to the bogeyman factor of having the number 1 plate on the door.
Yep, gets the job done. It's going to be the alien himself, James Scott, home in P1. Great drive from James. Dylan Rudd in second. Hobson third. Warboys fourth. Fifth is Whiting. Sixth will be Christian Smart. Great drive from Christian, up 13 spots. Almost has to be driver of the day. And then Craig Schultz in seventh. Paul Young's going to bring it home in eighth. Zach McDonald in ninth. Great drive from Zach to get it home in the top 10. Rounding out the top 10 will be James Chastaneuf, the man who will be second in the series, with his teammate Paul Young third. So,
Yeah, great drive again from James Scott. Just far too much talent, hasn't he? He's just super quick. We did see him make a mistake tonight, which was a rare one, but he still was able to, win convincingly even after losing all that lead to a safety car. And definitely Christian Smart, driver of the night, driver of the day. We're up 13 spots into six. Michael Whiting, an honourable mention there, up 8 spots. And Craig Schultz inside the top 10, up 9 spots. So 5th, 6th and 7th doing outstanding work tonight, progressing through the field.
Yeah, definitely a great cracking drive. James, of course, knows how to smoke the tyres up as well. So does Mr. Hobson. Cracking job of it. Hear that thunder rumbling in the background. Here you go. Review. Get the old drone out. Doing really well as we wait for the boys to get into the green room. That has been an epic season 5, of course, season 6 starting on the 14th of April, so that's not too far away. Still plenty of time to join. If you're very interested, get in touch with us. I'm sure Ash or one of the boys can send you some more information. It's probably one of the best no aids series going around for the V8s in the iRacing platform. High standard of driving, and as we see week in, week out, we have some great competition going all the way down the grid. Look at this, doing it together in tandem. And, we're definitely back next season. Got an exciting calendar next season as well. I think the boys are looking quite forward to getting that up and running. So am I for that fact. I think, boy, what we can do with the new season. So just give you an idea. So we're starting on the 18th, of April at Phillip Island. And then on the 25th of April, we're going to do a Long Beach Anzac Day tribute. So, and that's going to be 160-kilometre race and then a 100-kilometre race after that, where we'll have a pit stop in the second race only. And then Phillip Island, of course, is going to be 2 times 28 laps. Montego East Sushi Special. One race for the Fishy Boys on the 2nd of May. And that'll be a 74-lap race. Then a Spa back here in Sandown for 66 laps. Doing the Indy Road Course, Road America, Winton Festival of Speed. We're going to do a 60K and 100K race. 250Ks at Road Atlanta, Watkin Glen's Boot, 40 laps, and then we're doing 49-lap enduro at Bathurst to finish the season off. So she's going to be a big season the next one. And we'll start by welcoming the driver of the day, Christian Smart. Congratulations, Christian.
Yeah, thanks, John.
You just battled away, mate.
Yeah, just head down, bum up, as I'd say, and just the car felt awesome. And I got to just thank James for that. He lobbed me a set about 2 minutes before the race, and it was good.
It's good, mate. You had a couple of really good battles there that you were sort of on the edges of, like young Zach McDonald was really driving really well. You sort of benefited, I think, from a few other people's battles. So what's your thoughts, mate, on these younger blokes coming through?
Yeah, we just got to look out for it because they've just got so much talent, and if they've been doing it for as long as they have, only a bit more time, and look out, they'll be just gone leaps and bounds ahead of me.
Absolutely. Anyway, it seems you're part of Synergy. We'll wait till we get the other two. I'll spare you the sponsors list. We'll jump on to our race winner, of course, Mr. James Scott. Well done, James.
Thanks, mate.
How'd you find that one?
Yeah, it was pretty long. Very long. I honestly drove like a bit of a wobbler, to be honest, for most of that race. So, yeah. I don't know if you saw, I had a massive off.
Yeah.
And somewhere in the middle of the race, and then I almost had a few spins down at Dandenong Road, so I was wobbling around a bit, but got it done in the end.
And the safety car, we saw, I think it was Hobbo, Warboys and Whiting go in for tyres. That wasn't a bit of a worry? Or
I thought about it, but just thought that it's pretty hard to pass, and I wasn't sure exactly where I was going to come out. I wasn't sure what Hobbo at that stage was going to do, or Blake.
Yeah.
So, and it turned out to be Hobbo didn't lose a spot, which is good. So he risked it, and didn't gain much, but didn't lose. So
yep.
It is very hard to pass around here. So yeah, I thought I'll just stay in the front and see if we can hold on.
It's fair enough too, mate. And we might have a chat to the man who came second, Dylan Rudd. How'd you find that one, mate?
Yeah, as James said, very long. Yeah, kind of sat behind Hobbo most of the race and fuel saved, which paid off in the end at the last stop. But yeah, just kind of cruised in the draft.
I was, that seemed to be what you were trying to do, and you're that same thing again. I suppose the same question for you. It's lightning as well. It's that safety car with the two boys behind you being on fresh tyres. You weren't too concerned about that because they were sort of battling pretty hard with you there at the end.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about it when I saw they boxed, so I was a bit. Yeah, I thought I was just going to get driven past in the drive zones, but since the safety car cooled the tyres down, I was able to just hang on barely.
Yep, that's fair enough. And before we do sponsors and all that sort of stuff, we'll move on to the man who came third, but won the championship, Mr. Hobson.
Hey, mate, how you going?
Good, how you going?
I'm good now that I can put my arms down.
How'd you find that one, mate?
Yeah, like the others have said, it's a long race, and I'm old. It was not my finest performance. I didn't get any practice in, to be honest. So the first lap of the race was my first lap on fuel, and it was a struggle. The first stint, particularly, I was just wobbling around all over the place, and it was a bit of a struggle. And I had my moments. I went for the big undercut, being cool, and then came straight into traffic and lost a chunk of time. And when Dylan pitted, like I knew he was fuel saving, he pitted and come out right about where, roughly where he would have been. And then, but I lost so much time with all the traffic. I knew that I probably didn't capitalize there. And then at the next stop, the new auto fuel thing, it's just, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I was trying to figure out how to turn it off. And in the stop, I turned my fuel off halfway through. The car went down. I had to turn the fuel back on. I went back up, and I lost, 5 seconds or something in that stop as well. And when Dylan came out where he was, I was actually really angry because I thought, I was probably would have come out near him and we could have had a fight. And then at the end there, put on the tyres. I had nothing to lose. Put on the tyres and I thought, here we go, we're on. And then he was too good for me anyway. So it didn't really matter in the end. It all worked out in a wash. But it was good fun. It was a long race, and certainly wasn't my best drive, but we did what we needed to do, just come accumulate some points and grab a championship, which is what tonight was really all about. So happy with that.
Yeah, and of course, Damien being involved in an incident very early on. Probably took a little bit of pressure off yourself, but made it.
I'm gutted for the poor bloke. Like a couple of weeks ago, he was leading the points, and he was so upset with what happened last week at Sebring. You know, he was so fast there throughout the week, and then he's really, really good here as well. So he should have had two really, really good tracks to end the championship. I actually thought for sure he was going to get the job done over me, to be honest. And he just didn't have a good run for the last 2 weeks. Really unlucky, and I know he's devastated with that. So shout out to Damo. He'll get the job done. He's a really good driver, and if nothing else, it'll be a learning experience for him this season. But he's certainly capable of picking up a win here in one of these himself, and he will. Just needs to persevere with it. He did a great job.
That's coming. Before we do all the shout outs and everything else, we'll move on to the man that came third in the series, and he's probably going to be speaking on behalf of the man who came second in the series. That's Paul Young from Banter Alliance, and Chastity going to slot into the second place with Damo dropping out of the race. Well done, Paul.
Thanks, John. Yeah, it's a shame for Damien. I didn't think I was going to catch him at all. I thought I'd just do a clean race and get the extra 5 points, which I did. I managed 0x in that race, which is astounding, especially after a safety car restart. But yeah, I thought my race was more with Chastity after he went off at the first turn. I thought I might be able to actually jump him, but then I saw Damien in the wall. So yeah, shame for him. But yeah, well done to the podium tonight, and Hobbo won the championship, and Chastity on second place.
And the man, the myth, the legends jumped in. How are you, Chastity? Well done on P2 for the series, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, guys. Yeah, pretty good result.
Yeah, it's been a long series, and you've been quite consistent, mate. So it's great to see you up on the podium at the pointy end again.
Yeah, I guess the team's championship, we would have won it. Yeah.
It seems to be the way that I get it done. It's just on consistency. I don't really have the pace to win a whole heap of races, although I had that one, a couple of lucky ones out this season. But yeah, definitely not the fastest on pace. So it's just keep it on the track and get the best result I can each time.
Yep, no, that's fair enough too. I'll let you, Chastity. You can do the team shout out for the BAR boys.
Yeah, cheers. Big thanks to the BAR guys, the Locked On guys we've been working with, the Phase 4 guys as well, Burson Auto Parts, Frosty's Kitchen, VFS, Vehicle Finance Solutions, Ryko, DBA, Chica Auto, and One Sport as well. So yeah, thanks to all those guys.
Too easy. And Brenton is the first person to go back-to-back, or first person to win 2 championships in the East Coast Series. You can have the honour of giving the shout-out for the Synergy Sim Racing boys.
Yeah, righto. Well, thanks first and foremost to the other guys in the team. We already talked about Damo, how unlucky he was, but especially to James here. He's just dominated every time he's turned up. We talk about me winning championships. The bloke would have won by 300 points if he could have made the whole series. So shout out to him. Drove mega again tonight like he always does, goes without saying. And but to all the other guys as well, we all hang out in the Discord and stuff while we race. It's good fun, great bunch of guys, and it's a fun team to be a part of. So shout out to all them. Obviously the sponsors as well. West End Mazda Group, and Parramatta Isuzu, Dr. Epoxy, Watercraft Performance Centre, Works Racing Components, and all the rest of them that help make the wheels go round. Obviously, shout out to the guys that run the series as well. It's not easy to put on a series, so a lot of work goes into it. And without that, we wouldn't have somewhere to come and race. So thanks to those guys, and obviously to yourself, you and Mark, for putting on the broadcast and commentary for us all to go back and check out and look at after the race. Thanks, guys.
That's right, mate. Thank you. And Dylan for the 9-5 group.
Yeah, so thanks Sean for doing a mega job with the team. All the other boys in the team, they got a pretty good result tonight. Craig, Zach, and Hayden. Our sponsors: Racecraft Simulations, Turn and Race Apparel, RSW Graphics, Racing is Custom Protection, Cutting Edge Tracks, and RB Media. And all the admin running the series, and you guys for the broadcast and commentary.
Right. And of course, speaking of guys running the series and race control, we've got Seb in here. How are you, Seb?
Yeah, look, I'm good, mate. I've had a fantastic night watching the boys out there putting on some hard racing, and a fantastic season to wrap up. It's been really, really enjoyable overall, being in the race control. The quality of racing this series puts on week in, week out has just been super impressive. Everyone's out there driving fair, driving hard, and as we see, the guys out there are driving fast. They're not doodling around, but giving each other the space to do it really well. So it's a testament to all that have been involved for the 5 seasons now. Excited for season 6 coming up, and really looking forward to the new season.
Yeah, same here. I just want to say thank you as well to the drivers you guys put on the show. It makes it enjoyable for us and easy for us to put on a good broadcast. I know Mark and I comment every week about how good these guys actually are. Particularly at the pointy end, only dreamed to be that quick. Want to thank, of course, everyone in the chat on Facebook and YouTube who watches our stream, and of course, Ash and Richie as well in the background, and Josh Drage in the background as well, trying to make the series run, which has been fantastic. And one bloke who
Can't forget Dave.
Can't forget Dave, yeah. Oh, Dave as well, yeah. Just worried as soon as I say Guntry, he'll turn up.
I know.
And of course, there's one bloke I really want to give a huge thank you to, because as you can know, we're not Sim Speed, we're not Sim Speed TV doing this broadcast. It's just really myself pushing buttons with a bit of help from Mark, and I can't really do this. Well, for those who saw the 3 or 4 rounds this year by myself, it's a hell of a lot better and a lot more enjoyable when Mark's with me. So a big thank you to Mark for being part of this as well.
Thanks, John. It's always a pleasure to be here. It's always enjoyable watching these guys race. They're, like you say, they're super quick, they're entertaining, they race hard, they race clean, and anybody who is able to watch this series, there's always, fantastic entertainment every week and thoroughly enjoyable.
Absolutely. And of course, we'll be back again for season 6, getting confused, thinking of vets. Back for season 6, and I'll be back, Mark will be back, RC will be back, the boys will be back. And if you want to join us, it's not too late to get an entry in. Reach out to us, we'll help you out with that. And on that note, we'll wrap it up and say a big thank you to everybody again, and good night to everybody.
Thanks, guys.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.